Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
Oh, Lieutenant. Oh, damn it. Third Pip's gone. Lieutenant Cockings. Crap. Demoted for this review. Darn.
I'm not responsible, guys.
I just forgot to put the third Pip on. Hi, guys. I thought it'd be a bit special because this is... What is it? Well, this is it, Stuart, isn't it? This is our start of the journey.
This is episode 1 of our review of episode 1
Yes.
of Picard.
Yep.
This is the full review.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure you join us, of course, for the full live breakdown.
The era is finally here for all speculation. What is your spoiler-filled review thoughts of Picard episode 1 Remembrance?
I loved it.
You upped your noun higher for the spoiler review. That's good. Okay.
No, I thought it was really well done. Better than I anticipated. I went into it kind of not having too high hopes.
Really helps.
And yeah, I was really impressed with it. That being said, there were things, of course, that bugged me, but overall, I just had I likened it to like putting on an old pair of shoes that are just really comfortable. They just feel like you belong there. The way I was concerned, the way Patrick Stewart would be portraying the character, but he definitely came off as Picard. It didn't seem like an old Patrick Stewart. It felt like Picard, like he's back in that character, and I think that's fantastic. So, yeah, my overall thought is I really liked it.
As a note to that specific point, beyond felt I liked it too, but I think less than you did. And I'm going to explain why in a minute. But there's a slight difference to me to you for this, where you saw an old Picard, whereas I met Patrick and interviewed him 2 years ago, and it was identical. So I actually spent a good 2 hours with him, interviewing him, just chatting with him as Patrick Stewart. So for me, I saw the Patrick Stewart I know. So for me, I just saw old man Patrick Stewart that I knew, whereas Picard looks younger and different. So I found it a lot harder to separate the two men. Better than it could have been, better than Discovery, but the tonally it's so radically different, and I've been mulling this over the last day and a bit, that this is unique Star Trek, because it isn't a crew ensemble yet, but I mean, this is what we've been given so far. It is a single man's story. It's very Mandalorian in the sense it's not what Star Trek is meant to be. It's not Star Trek at its best. But it's a unique Star Trek tale in the universe. So it's very hard to sort of compare because its totally unique thing. I mean, the name gives it away. Star Trek Picard. It's not the ship Voyager. It's not the Deep Space Nine station. It's so small, and I enjoyed the story, although I kept feeling throughout it, there's not that much Star Trek in this yet. You know, so many scenes are just in a generic-ish location with a little bit of CG added. You know, this is you realize how much the uniform helps. Being in a set with a uniform makes a massive difference. And this first episode felt very small to me and un-Trek in the grander what I see from Trek visually, and that definitely does a lot to feel. What do you think?
I disagree. This expanded the world of Star Trek for me because it's nice to see the civilian side of things, which we rarely do. We saw it a few times in Deep Space Nine.
Well, they avoided it in TNG. They avoided going home. That was one of the big points.
Yeah. So I think it expands the world of Star Trek, and it still felt very Star Trek to me, despite the lack of a ship, essentially, and uniforms. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I really enjoy this take on it. It's more of a laid-back approach to Trek, and we're going to see how it goes, but so far I think that's going to work for it.
I just referred to like when you go to Daj's apartment, that could be any sci-fi. You know, it was completely generic. You know, there was nothing Star Trek apart from a little pad. You know what I mean? Most of the locations were any sci-fi. So I think when you showed the Trek stuff, I love when you go to the Starfleet archives and just see people walking in uniform. Suddenly you get that vibe. And that's the great thing about going into the future. You can make these things. You know, the uniforms. They don't look canon, but they're the next uniform, so it's fine. Later episodes, it's all going to come together for me. You know, I think the best bits were when you go to those locations. You talk about talk about data, when you show data, those things that link it all together, rather than just kind of go to the peripherals.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's hard to express. The thing I said out loud after I finished watching it was, I didn't know how I felt.
Oh, that's weird because I knew exactly how I felt. I really enjoyed it. I was like walking on cloud nine thinking, wow, we got a new actually Star Trek series that feels good. And the old character of Picard really brought that to life for me. Plus that opening scene with him and Data in the galaxy was a great way to kick it off.
The best.
Yeah.
Just should have been longer. That's the only thing I could say about it, really.
Yeah, I would agree. The only nitpick I had about that is 10 forward windows were like off center from where they're supposed to be quite a bit.
Well, I mean, that entire 3D model Enterprise D is one from the trailer, and it's not the most accurate because it was built, you know, just for one shot. That's why they chromed it beyond the "it's a dream," so they have to texture it and finish it. Like, that was a quickly built model, which is fine. It looked nice for what it was. But that's why I said to you it was definitely a dream, because that's not going to be what they go for visual style, because it doesn't look real. But then, to talk about spoilers then. So what did you think of, Brent Spiner back as Data? You've got 2 scenes of them. Just the same scenes we see in the trailer, so we already saw them, but in their full, what do you think?
He looked odd, I gotta say. He didn't quite look like Data should. The eyes seemed really off to me. They seemed... But then again, it is a dream, as you said, so anything like that can be chalked up to that. So, yeah, that's the one thing that people have complained about, and I kind of have a little bit of an issue with, was just the way he looked overall. I think they tried to de-age him, and they really shouldn't have.
Well, do you want to know something funny? In my prep work, I compared the footage of Data Brent Spiner from the trailer 6 months ago to full episode, which I said, if they're de-aging, because they didn't necessarily look like they did per se, they'll improve it. It's the exact same. They haven't touched that clip at all. So exactly as everyone said, it looks weird at the start. So they did not de-age him any further or improve it any further in 6 months. Like I said, that said, I think it looks pretty much like Nemesis Data, which it always looks a bit weird because that's him as his oldest.
No, but other than that, I thought Data... it was good to see him back, and I hope there's more of them, because they've already like blown their data load all over the first episode. So I don't know if there's going to be more of him. I really hope there is, especially with the whole thing with the engrams and what's contained within. There's a possibility we might even get a human Data by the end of season 1, and Maddox fulfills his dream of making him human.
Hadn't even considered that. Well, Brent told us right at the start, it's like, I'm just in a bit, I'm not a main character, I'm there, and this is everything we've seen so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is almost everything, because the fact is it served a story plot point, and the story point was finished by the end of the episode of him being there. But you got to ask, is the Data stuff a dream or a vision or a Borg signal in his brain from the cube? Because the Queen could send things into his brain. And I mean, Data told him the painting lady thing, and that could just be him remembering, or it could be him being shown in a direction. So there could be more Data as that plot progresses. We don't know. But I did like him mostly, apart from his voice. His voice was kind of raspy, like he happened to have a cold that week. And we've seen Brent in real life, and he doesn't sound like that. He sounds better in real life, so I don't know why he was kind of doing this. So he felt older.
I didn't even notice that, but...
Yeah, he had no strength in the voice. That's the thing that started to me. The face, like, he's aged 20 years. It's fine. Like, he looked surprisingly good, especially if you take away the wrinkles. If it was just this shot, I think he looked pretty much amazing. It was just the wrinkles that were thicker there, I thought. Do you know anything I really loved early on? Jump to a different topic.
Yeah.
When you cut from the first bit to then Daj being instantly introduced as just a lady in a room, I was like, oh, great! We're going, like, this is not what you're expecting. Awesome.
I agree 100%. Like I said, that look at everyday life in not in Starfleet, just in the future of Star Trek, was quite interesting. Yeah, I was surprised that we got introduced to her so quickly. And from the trailers and stuff, we'd speculated that she was a prisoner and all this, and obviously those things.
I told you they lied.
Well, I know, that's what trailers do. The fact that I've been building up to this meeting Daj, and then we meet Daj, and she's great. Love her.
Yeah.
And then 40 minutes later, she's dead.
And that is a great moment. It's like, oh!
Yeah.
Ha!
So now we have to talk about Soji, unless Daj comes back somehow. But she just dodged in like a 1 episode thing, or because then we got Soji, and I don't know. I'm just gonna get used to say Soji now.
It's why they didn't want. It's why when they asked the actress about the character, she just said this. She literally recited the brief that was given to her as one of the posters, because that is it. That is all the character is. It's this one line, dead. Second version of the character. Okay, cool. And you can't give that away because that's. But I thought that was great. Although that led to my disappointment vibes in that we saw almost this entire episode in the trailers. It was all so familiar. It was both exciting and not. The fact that I felt like, oh, okay, well, I've seen it all, but it's exciting then because then they've not revealed anything else. They've now got 9 episodes of unknown. There's the double-edged sword of, I was kind of seeing it already. That's why I didn't want to be spoiled of the stuff. So seeing all of her arc in the trailer, that's all of her arc. Like, that's amazing. Even the acid trailer called out. That's weird. They gave away the acid. They literally have the entire arc of the character in the trailers, which is ballsy as hell. So I thought Daj was great for the most part. I think she's one of the better actors in the show. At least, I mean, obviously the Romulans are kind of like, they're just people. You know what I mean? I think they played it well, but they weren't like amazing. But I mean, there's, you know, they were very gentle actors doing gentle performances. You know what I mean? So there wasn't, you know, that much to go from there. But I thought she kind of elevated her lines.
And we did see B4. We got an introduction to the B4 in a drawer. No mention of Lore yet, which is odd. Because, I mean, he was disassembled. We know that.
And it was weird they called out, oh, Data's unique. And it's like, no, you had B4. You had the Sung android mother, who was already better look. You know, all the tech they're doing in this episode, in the season, Sung already did. That's kind of one of the funny jokes. But yeah, they closed out the B4 arc very simply. It's like, oh, didn't work.
And they stated that, yeah, most of Data's memory that he backed up was lost. Almost all, they said. Which is good to know. And
which actually brings us straight into the idea of, that definitely makes the Countdown comics uncanon again. So the Countdown comics are the ones that pre-released the J.J. Abrams 09 film, and they explicitly said these are canon to us because they, you know, the studio can decide what's canon or not. But Data is a captain. He takes over B4's body. He's a captain in that. But did you note that they never once said Romulan star Hobus? They actually the Romulan son. Hobus is not Romulan's son. So I think they've actually now retconned 09 to be not canon to this universe, which I thought was very subtle, but it's like Hobus and the Romulan sun are extremely different events. Like, those are extremely different locations. Like, one could destroy the entire galaxy, they said, and it's not far away, but the son of, you know what I mean? Did you catch that? What do you think?
I did catch that, and I thought it was quite odd. But at the same time, people have been bitching about that forever, considering that the Hobus star was going to destroy the galaxy. It just made no sense. So I kind of like that they changed that. It'll be interesting to see if it's ever really referred to again.
But I think this happily retcons J.J. Abrams as a different version. I mean, you can't... Hobus and the Sun are different, and Data was not a captain, and that was canon. So either they've got to, you know, decanon certain things. If the Countdown comics decanonized, does that make Nero's background decanonized? Because it's only in that.
Yeah, I have no issues with JJ stuff being non-canon, as you know, it probably should be. But anyway, on that note, guys, if you want to be able to help us out, Patreon is a great way. We're going to throw this in here. If you want to help us on a monthly basis, go over to Patreon. The link is in the description down below of all of our videos. So check it out and sign up for a monthly subscription. $5, $10, $2, even $1 a month is fine. Just a little bit means a lot, and it really helps us out.
Yeah, we're going to release dozens and dozens of videos for Picard, and we need that Patreon support. So if you do support channels and you like what we do, our detailed analysis and graphics and stuff, then do support us on Patreon, please. Or a one-time donation at Trekyards@hotmail.com that goes towards the budget to get a new kit and such. So please do help. But Stuart, I mean, anything else that really kind of excited you?
I was really impressed with the new Romulan ships that we got at the end. Cool design. Looking forward to kind of talking about that. Kind of like a Romulan scout ship, you know, a smaller version of, you know, or their version of a bird of prey or something. It was a cool little design.
And different to the one in the trailers. Although on that note, we have got, unfortunately, speaking of tech, we do have, and there was a trailer released for this season where we do see a future ship, which we'll talk about this week. And obviously there's even Romulan work to be, so there is a few new designs. But one thing they don't new design is the Discovery era shuttle does come back in, I think, 5 to 6 different scenes. Every single time we see anything fly in the air, it's a Discovery era shuttle with either no changes or a slight paint scheme change, and that is the entire thing. So they dropped the ball hard there. Just a fail. I mean, there's fail. So.
One of the last things I want to talk about is with Soji. I love how the Romulan guy goes up and speaks to her. She's obviously kind of infatuated with him. She seems attracted to him for sure. He makes a point of saying, "You spend all your day you spend your whole day fixing other people. The last thing you want to do is have me talk about my problems, which is interesting because that's going to lead to the Borg situation where, and Hugh, we know that Hugh comes back, he's deborgified. So fixing people, does that mean removing all Borg implants from Borg drones and restoring them back to their former selves? It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So that was a little thing at the end, just a little line that, you might have thought she was a psychologist or something, listens to people's problems, but that's not the case.
Yeah, that end certainly was needed to help, like, bookend the Trek, like the or they played the Borg cube as a reveal, but it's like, yeah, we know.
Yep.
You're proud to show. Although I give them credit, they did change I mean, they changed it on the trailers as well, but the force fields from blue, which signified something weird, to green, which is just, oh yeah, Borg force fields. So good job, you did that.
The reference to Maddox was fantastic. I mean, and the fact that he disappeared and nobody knows where he is gives me hope that we're going to see Maddox at some point, and it's going to tie into the overall story because of Dodge and Soji, right? So I'm really hoping that we get a good payoff from that, because we know that Data was working with him behind the scenes. He was actually writing him and corresponding with him.
And they can retcon that to as much or as little as they want.
Yeah. In Data's day, like, he could have sent him engrams. He could have, whatever. So there's a lot of hope there for really good storytelling, and bringing back, even just the mention of Maddox was awesome, but to maybe have the chance to see him is going to be fantastic. So.
And not just that, but beyond the obvious, like, oh, he was stolen by Romulans or something, I like that if it's just a simple parallel of what Sung did, because Sung faked his death, or left to be a hermit to design on his own. And 30, 40, 50 years later, Maddox did the same thing. I like, if that's what he did, I like the symmetry. So even if we literally find an old actor in old age makeup, it's like, oh, hello, I am Doctor. It's like, oh, it's the same scene. That I like the parallel there. I know I said this to you very early on, but part of the Trek universe, but the Star Wars universe, is that synthetics, androids aren't a thing. They're a thing. And I called out to you, I didn't want there just to be androids everywhere in this part of the canon. It feels so wrong. So I really appreciate that they make a massive deal of saying, no, Data was unique. Except Law was unique. And that to create another one, you would need Data, which in theory is impossible because he's long since dead, but the storyline of the show. So I appreciate that, and obviously whatever synthetics they did invent were massively inferior, and whatever happened, blah blah blah, and they were limited and they weren't mass, So I like that that subverted my worries, I'll say, and reaffirmed that.
Children of Mars had me scared that there was going to be like a essentially slave race of androids, and there wasn't. It was like the ones that attacked were built here, probably as an experiment. I mean, we're going to see them at some point, the racks of them. Which I kind of expected in this episode, but
yes, absolutely. Well, that could go so many places. I mean, I don't understand it at all. It's like if they made a couple in a lab as tests, and we see what they look like. How did they get to Mars and steal enough ships to destroy an entire armada which is there to save 900 million people, which is a weird number because you would assume Romulus has at least 1 billion people. But that entire Romulus evacuation thing makes no sense. We might have to do a whole episode on the information but whatever, I mean, it's never going to make that much sense because, Romulan Empire, not Romulan planet.
Yeah, I know.
Kurtzman doesn't quite understand the idea of an empire, does he? But that's okay. But they can certainly... one missed opportunity, I will say, is that when they're doing the interview with the lady, who I kept seeing as Malcolm Middle's best friend's mum. That's all I kept seeing her as. I couldn't... So that was quite... Anyway. I kept hoping that when Picard there was a weird angle of his face, and it's like, I was expecting him to flash back. We'd see the E, or we'd see whatever, the ships with the formation, and see Hobus. And that would expand the Trek and give us some more CG and show us. They didn't do anything. I was kind of like, missed opportunity there. I'm assuming they're saving it. But I thought that would have been a really good moment to just see it in flashes.
Yeah, there's just two things I want to mention real quick. I know we're kind of running long for this, but first of all, right before the interview, the line that the Romulan says to him, "Be the captain they remember." I'm wondering if that was said by somebody on, just a Patrick before filming, and they're like, "Hey, we got to include that," because that was really good, a really good line.
Well, it's funny because they should have said, "Be the admiral everyone remembers," because they only knew him as an admiral, probably. But
yeah.
Whatever, it's fine. Yeah. He calls him Admiral later as well, but it's a good line. But yeah.
And then the other thing is the Starfleet archives, where we saw the Constellation, the Enterprise E, Captain Jet. We saw the
stuff
Enterprise...
we saw.
Yeah, we saw it twice, Vegas and Birmingham. And then the Enterprise D behind them, and then also the Sovereign. It was just, you didn't see the Sovereign very much. It was kind of just... Plus, Batleth, or real Batleth. Worf, looking like Worf at the beginning of the interview. Lots of cool stuff that ties it to TNG. But then, yeah, Discovery stuff as well.
But they were very much filmed as chunks that almost as if they were designed to be reshot. Like, oh, we'll add... Because you can imagine you didn't need to have the pictures of the Picard face at the start of the interview. That could have been added in post. Or you didn't need to have all these things, but all you have to do is build a little thing on a soundstage and build the room. You could have the painting in a generic, like, you know, that scene in every film where they go into a lockbox room and it's just a blank room with boxes. So they almost say as if they were just kind of like, oh, we need to add some Trek lore. Let's just put in little moments and then move away. Whereas I kind of wish they would be more spread out. Like seeing, you know, a flashback or seeing cut to Earth, you see, you know, things like that kind of feel more.
All right, guys. So I think that's all we have to talk about right now. But if
there is
you're
more.
For...
This was just our condensed review.
More. There is more. And speaking of, check that out tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 UK time, and join us on YouTube Live for that, and come and super chat if you want. Get your voice heard, your question answered, your comment read, all that good stuff. Drink some Earl Grey tea as you do, but join us for the complete breakdown. We'll break down every scene, have a good discussion. It'll probably be 2 hours or more. I can see it going a little bit over. But we're looking forward to having you guys there. So by all means, put your comments not only down below, but also come and see us as well live and be part of the discussion.
Yep, and super chats are super important there. But also Patreon, mentioned it earlier. Patreon/Trekyards, or a one-time donation at trekyards.com, or merch down below. If you like the show, like what we do, and like our balance, then please, you know, support us like you can. And also, guys, look, background is done. Toto background. And obviously you can see I dressed up for the special occasion. Stuart did too, but, you know, holographic. The scanners can't see it. He's in full dress uniform. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll be wearing that tonight. All right, but yeah, see you guys later and watch more videos because we have a lot of videos coming next week. My God, a lot of videos.
That's right. So make sure you subscribe and hit like.
Yes.
And until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Commander Kongs. Bye, guys.